Starting your own practice is hard for many chiropractors. It's riddled with both struggles and successes. But here at the Chiropractic Philanthropist, we make it easy by having chiropreneurs and entrepreneurs share their struggles and lessons learned in life and business so that you don't have to make the same mistakes. And now here's your host, Dr. Ed Osborne.
How amazing would it be if you could practice because you want to, not because you have to? Learn how to improve your cash flow and increase your passive income now. Go to moneyripples.com or find their podcast, The Chris Miles Money Show, to learn more. All right, TCP listeners and viewers, because we are live today on Facebook. I'm bringing actually someone who I've been following for quite some time. I know I was stating even just before we jumped on this call, Owen, like I follow you, I think, but I'm not friends with you. We got to be friends on Facebook or social media. Yeah. We'll make that happen.
You left me out of this huge experience of you by not being friends. Like, I'm excited to be here with you today.
Well, here we are. I love social media for this reason. I get to connect with people. And, this is a conversation that I really wanted to have today, but I think it's really relevant to a lot of the people that I've worked with in the past and currently. And it's going to help. I think YouTube specifically will kind of drop that as a hook is really a way for a lot of doctors to impact a lot of people and gain authority and presence in their community, but even worldwide. So let's start with this. I want you to just tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about Owen Video, and then I'm going to start shooting questions your way.
Absolutely. So, I have had a video camera in my hand since I was 9 years old. My dad came home that year with a Nintendo and a video camera. I played Nintendo for, about 5 seconds, but the rest of my life I dedicated to video. And I started like anyone else on YouTube, making sketch comedy videos and just really living my personality. And I was going to school at the time when, I graduated. I got a degree in media. It was like, hey, I can't be just goofing off on YouTube all the time. I got to do a serious business. So I began to teach wellness professionals, chiropractors, and similar functional medicine doctors, like how to get started with video. And this is back when YouTube was new. I had no idea that stupid, funny viral hits would actually be the thing, and so that's where some of my earliest films are sketch comedy and funny stuff. But we've generated a huge reputation as the premier company to help your business launch on YouTube. And that incorporates brand building. It incorporates lead generation, it's sales revenue, live streaming. So it's really a wonderful career to be in.
And so did you learn this? Was this a skill set that you learned over time, or was it something that you was like, this is trial and error? I just keep trying things. This is what I found works, and this is what I teach.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. My background is in media composition, right? I went to school to be a newscaster. That was my goal. And I ended up being, I'm still the guest social media expert on a few different news stations. But I knew media, I knew how camera works, and I studied leadership, and I listened to Jim Rohn, and I spent years in multi-level marketing as a young person, and I knew about influence. And so I was already making videos for myself that were doing really well. What I had to learn was how to coach others in how to do that for their business. And I think that's what separates me from a lot of the other coaches out there who are my friends and colleagues and I respect dearly. They're sort of like YouTube stars who became sort of coaches. Whereas, I've been a coach for 10 years and I know how to take someone who's never been on camera before and put them into a video that gets, 10,000, 20,000 views and makes them 6 figures in revenue. How we do that in 12 weeks is why people call our company from all over the world. So that part is trial and error, right? Like YouTube changes over time. Instagram introduces vertical video, and vertical video was never a thing when I was in college. So you do have to adjust. You have to stay on top of your industry, and you've got to sort of, try new things. In fact, I was on a client call this morning, and we're going to try reframing his punchline into the new leadership, right? And we're changing that from lead the team. So that was the brand he came in with, and now we're trying the new leadership, and we're going to see how it lands. That part of the business is necessary, and you have to be trying different things with video.
So I remember like Russell Brunson's once, I don't know if I heard him say it on a webinar or who knows or something, but I remember him saying, it's really interesting how, you can do for you a lot of, well, not a lot, but there's a certain percentage of people who can do, get results for themselves when it comes to online, to video and, Instagram, whatever it is, like mini videos.
Yeah.
But to do for others is completely different. He said, like, that's a rarity. Like if you can teach someone that skill set, completely different.
Yeah. And I think Russell's a great example because his YouTube channel does okay.
Yeah.
Kind of flounders from time to time. I've followed him for years, but man, is he an epic coach. He is an epic coach. And, like we've learned so much from Russell Brunson. I was just speaking to a friend of mine who's in the YouTube space, and I was like, hey, you guys should come out this weekend. She goes, I can't. I'm taking my kids to a Russell Brunson thing. It's about teaching kids marketing. And I'll tell you, I'm like, I love this guy. I love what this guy does. I love what chiropractors do. My life has been changed by a chiropractor. I love the message of the power that made the body heals the body. And I think chiropractors get in their own way and nerd out a little bit and, start talking about things that maybe don't connect emotionally with people. And so what we try to do is we try to like help you share the stories and help you sort of, even my own chiropractor who I'm helping him get started on YouTube. I said, just do 5 videos about your hyperbaric chamber, right? Just do 5 videos. Now he did that. The whole idea is break the ice. Cause now when I go in with him, it's going to be like, now let's talk about people whose lives have been changed by the hyperbaric chamber. Right. And that's something a little bit different.
So I think that's a great transition into, words of meaning. So, a quote, words of meaning, something that you would like to drop on doctors that you think is like a really poignant point for this conversation today.
Yeah, that's a great question. And let me give it some context here because my quote, my point of affirmation is something that's gotten me through some of the toughest times in my life and reminds me every day of what it is that I was put here to do. But I also see it happening right now in our country in general. America at large has no more faith in the media. Yep. America has no more faith in the school system, no more faith in the CDC, no more faith in the institutions of the baby boomer generation. And what that means is rather than look towards Wells Fargo to be our financial expert, we as Americans are going online and looking at YouTube. We're looking at TikTok, and we're looking at who are going to be the category leaders that we trust in this new generation. And so my quote is this: take your rightful place as the leader you're meant to be. It's not going to be given to you. Right? It's not going to be bestowed upon you. Your mayor is never going to recognize you for all the lives that you've changed in your country. You have to be the person delivering that message, and you can build a team behind you to do that. But it's time for you to just step up and be that leader. Your country needs you.
It's an exciting time, isn't it?
I think so. This is like, it's almost like disruption at scale.
Yeah. There's never, who would have thought a year ago, 2 years ago, I don't know, even go 4 years ago, someone with a mobile phone could build a 1 million+ following and influence and change completely change their life and their lifestyle. So like how much money they make, their, how they provide for their family, to get their message out there. All you need is a phone.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that because we just did a video tutorial yesterday on how to use your mobile phone and kind of like, yes, it's okay to use your mobile phone. Yeah. And here's why. If I could tell you a little bit of backstory about me, I was
let's do it.
I was diagnosed with stage 4 terminal cancer 20 months ago. They told me that I had 24 months to live. They said you have 2 years to live. Okay. That was almost 2 years ago. So I went home and I got depressed and I was kicking rocks. I'm like, man, I'm a YouTube freaking guy. Like, this is how my life ends, and I was depressed and I was angry and I was scared. And then I went to YouTube And I went and I looked up how to beat cancer, and I found cancer influencers. I found doctors like the doctors that are listening here today. I found Dr. Nasha. I found Dr. Eric Berg. Oh, Dr. Eric Berg, if you're listening to this ever, I mean, I tell you, your videos have changed my life in that I rejected chemo, I rejected radiation, and I adopted a completely metabolic schedule for my health based on the influencers I found on the internet. And although I'm not totally cancer-free today, I've still got a little tiny spot left that I'm still trying to get rid of. I went from 9 spots down to 4, down to now 1. Wow. And I did that in just 20 minutes following an alternative schedule because of doctors like you who are out there and have the power to change the world. Who would have thought that our lives could change from a video made by a guy in Potonk, Alabama?
So crazy.
You know what I mean? It's a pretty incredible thing.
I mean, here's the thing I hear from doctors. I've been doing this for like 7, 8 years, 10 years total, like in terms of like online business. But I'll just say it in one sentence. It's like, what's in it for me? Yeah. So they see that they're spending a lot of time. Oh, I'm creating these videos. I only had 30 people watch it. My subscribers, it's not growing as quickly as I want. And I always like ask, I'm like, well, think about who's listening, not how many necessarily. And then, what is the ROI on that? They always think about the financial ROI. Is it really worth my time? And I think that mindset has to shift. Is that what you find with clients often is they have to shift their mindset from like, hey, the dollars and cents to actually, hey, I just need to contribute to the world and it'll come back to me.
Yeah. And I think that there's a new, you're right. Okay. This is such a big topic because ROI matters. We're in business. This is the difference between us and slime channels or family vlogs, right? Like they want to do it if they make money someday, and many of them do make great money, then wonderful. But I'll tell you a little secret, like a lot of these big vloggers and YouTubers, they call me for consulting on, oh, I'm not making enough money, right? So we need to make money. And the fact that we have a product, a service, especially recurring, I've been seeing a chiropractor for like 15 years. You know what I mean? Like that's strong recurring lifetime value of a customer. So you need that. But here's what you also need. You also need social value, right? Your message has to be valuable. And so when we talk about a video plan, we try to think of it as 3 circles. And you want to find yourself right in the center of these three circles, like a Venn diagram, where you've got this one circle where it's content that you love, right? Like when you're in front of that camera, you should feel like I'm passionate about this message. I'm excited to do this video. Yeah. Circle number 2, this is the challenge. So there needs to be an audience for those videos, right? If you're not getting views, then it's going to be hard to stay motivated. Similarly, if nobody's watching, then nobody's buying. And that's the 3rd circle, right? The videos have to be profitable. So when you find yourself in the middle of that zone, you are making videos you love, people are watching them, and you're making money. How do you do that? Strategy. Content strategy is before you even buy the camera, you're thinking about what videos am I going to make? And we can break that down a lot of different ways, but let me give you 3 big ideas that you're not hearing from anyone else. You can make videos that are designed to get your message out, to get views, to go viral. Okay. Number one thing. A great example of that is, if you're a doctor and you're in like, let's just say we're in the COVID era. You could be making videos about COVID. I have a doctor that I work with out of Salt Lake City. He made a video on the supplement NAC as the FDA was talking about banning that. That got 20,000 views in the first 30 days.
Wow.
Now, is that going to drive a ton of customers into a store? No, that's not the point of that video, right? That video was designed to get views. Similarly, you're going to make a separate set or silo of videos that are designed to drive people into your business. Those are 2 separate videos, right? And so a well-balanced YouTube strategy is building audience and then working to convert that audience in a reasonable fashion, right? This idea, I'm going to make 2 videos, and if I don't make $1 million, I'm quitting, right? That's a mindset issue, an expectation problem, not a failure in YouTube or video marketing.
So how long would I expect to need to curate content before I could drop an offer? Is there like a formula?
I think that I'll tell you this, in my program, the YouTube Authority Intensive, you should expect to make a 5-figure return in your first 90 days. I'm happy to promote that. I'm happy to promise that. If we don't fulfill that in 90 days, then we will coach you for free until you do. The reality is most of our clients make that. And when you have a $15,000 care package over the course of a year, like it's not that hard to do. It's not about time, right? Our company, our corporate company is called Acceleratus Media. Why? Because we accelerate the time it takes for you to create videos and learn how to do it and to actually make money with it. It's not about how many videos you make or how much time. It's about creating connection with your audience. How quickly. We had a chiropractor from Atlanta, Georgia, come into our program. Amazing guy, Dr. Sten. You should see his channel, Dr. Sten Ekberg on YouTube. And he was already successful on YouTube, but his thing is, he's like, it's driving business that I'm not prepared for. And so we invented for him a virtual service, which I'm sure many of the doctors listening already have a virtual service of some kind. But we invented for him a virtual service for which he got 6 clients the day he announced it. So it's not so much about like, I got to make 15 videos or whatever. Like, make your offer first. Some people I'll coach, hey, let's just do like a 30-minute, this is what we do, and make a call to action. And let's just send that to everybody right now. You might get business from that. The reality is like, do you have an audience already? Do you have an email list, customers? And are they listening to you? Do they trust you? Or are you a backcracker to them? Right. And if so, if you're just a backcracker, look, then we got to do some videos to warm them up. You know what I mean? Like, get them back and engage. And so everyone's a little bit different, and we approach every doctor as unique.
How would Seth Godin, Gary Vaynerchuk, and Tim Ferriss create a chiropractic practice? The answer is The Payday Practice, a new book by Dr. Jeff Langmaid and Dr. Jason Deitch. The Payday Practice is the perfect solution for any chiropractic practice looking to generate monthly recurring revenue. This book provides a step-by-step process that is easy to follow and guaranteed to get results. Get your free copy today at thepaydaypractice.com. Don't wait, this offer won't last forever. The Payday Practice, recurring practice revenue the easy way. Head over to thepaydaypractice.com for your free copy now.
So, I mean, and content that, goes on YouTube, and I'm no expert on YouTube. And I mentioned, before we started this, that my YouTube channel sucks. Like,
it's in growth. It's in development right now.
It would get it. So like if we were grading it, I would have an F. So there's tons of content, but yeah. I have, I don't know, maybe a couple hundred subscribers.
Sure.
And the content basically consists of, we do a podcast like this, Lipson goes and drops the podcast in there. And it's just really our logo and the audio. And what I do know, right, from, I'm pretty successful when it comes to reels, like on Instagram or Facebook.
Great.
Yeah. So that type of video is like, you have to create content that's specific to that channel. Is that right? Like, there's a lot of people who just say, hey, look, do a podcast and then just repurpose it, just spread it everywhere.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work like that, does it?
Man, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because I don't believe in repurposing as a template strategy. I believe that for some people, in some cases, it can work well, but like if you film a video, for example, and then you tell your editor or you yourself are going to like go through that video to find a reel that you're going to repurpose. Like, you have to get one reel, which will last you a day. Yeah. You're going to have to like edit a full video and then go through it again. And it's easier to just prop up your mobile phone and reshoot a 1-minute version of that reel. Yeah. Right. So I think that video strategy comes down to, what are your strengths? For a lot of doctors, it's going to be like propping up a camera in the office somewhere where when inspiration strikes, you can go sit down in front of the camera. It doesn't have to be a fancy camera, right? Just get like a webcam, a $99 webcam on it needs to be HD. 4K is overkill, right? You just sit in front of the camera and you go, man, patient just came in. This thing happened. I want to share it with you. And that kind of brings us to the answer to your question. It's important for your channel to have a focus, And your focus can change. Now, I don't mean every 3 weeks it changes. I'm talking about, like, for example, Dr. Jake. We just launched with his channel, and it was Dr. Jake Wellness Provider, kind of like Dr. Jake Wellness, I think is the name of his channel. And what we're finding is that the videos just aren't really resonating. Like, I get that he's got these health tips for me.
Yeah.
But we really needed to bring the focus in. And here's something you'll never hear from another coach. Every single video that you see on YouTube has 3 things in common. There's a title, there's a thumbnail, and the creator channel name. So when I look at a video that's like, how to fix spinal pain by Rocky Makaki, right? YouTube influencer. Hey, bro, went to the chiropractor the other day. I'm going to show you guys what's up, right? Versus, how to fix your spinal health by Dr. Ed Osborne, then all of a sudden there's a different credibility there. So what we did with Dr. Jake is we noticed that all of his videos were really focused around energy levels and feeling depletion, adrenals, right? So we're relaunching as Dr. Jake, the Natural Energy Doc. So how do we apply that into our own? Now, look, we're going to focus on all of these different health things as a component of energy. So we're going to have a lot of videos that are titled how to get more energy, how to decrease sleepiness, right? But a lot of videos are going to have those words in their titles. You're never going to make one video and never make it again. You're like, think about McDonald's. McDonald's is food, family, and fun, right? It's been that way for 25 years. Now, you may hear other things, but they'll always come back to that. You've got to have a message that you repeat over and over and over again through many different ways. You're going to talk about like how to do adrenal health, but you're also going to talk about, foods that will, increase your energy in the day, right? You're going to talk about sugar crashes, but you're also going to talk about, mushrooms and natural energy, right? There's going to be just like so much stuff around the energy doc. So my question is, who are you? And this is where that passion content comes in, right? Because you're all making adjustments. I know it. But if you're really passionate about posture, right, then make a series of videos that are like the best posture for a standing desk, the best posture for sitting at a meeting. Is crossing your legs good for posture? Is sitting cross-legged, a posture no? 5 posture mistakes most busy moms are making. 5 posture mistakes every dad is making. Posture tips you can give to your kids, right? And all of a sudden you're the posture doc. Now, does that mean you change your whole business? And no. It just means that right now you're in a season where you're known as the posture doc. You do that till the well runs dry, my friends. Does it matter to you if a family of let's say 3 families of 5 came in and they're all like, hey, you're the posture doc. Are you going to be like, no, I'm not. No, I am a well-rounded chiropractor and I do lots of different things here. And we have a hyperbaric chamber and we have a massage therapy. No, you're going to say, that's right. Am I signing up all 5 of your family today? Right?
Yeah.
So think about what it is that you love. And a lot of this is just experimentation. Like when you start, we suggest that every one of our doctors starts in 5 categories, right? We kind of like help you pick the categories, right? Maybe it's sleep. Maybe it's nutrition, right? And even with nutrition, maybe it's the gut biome, right? Maybe it's a specific part of nutrition. For me, I'm very interested in mitochondria. That could be a thing. Maybe you're the mitochondria doc. You start with a bunch of topics, you see what resonates, and you dig into that until the well runs dry.
So, I mean, it's not just about like the followers, the subscribers on YouTube. Like I think about how my behavior, and I don't know, I'm going to assume often that my behavior is not unlike the average person. So if I'm researching anything, I go to YouTube, man. I go to Google, right? I Google it. And then what I do is I select videos because I know I'm going to YouTube. I do the
same thing.
Yeah. I see all the videos that are ranked, I guess, by, so that's really the process, isn't it? That's really what we want is people to search something and I want them to understand too, our listeners like docs, is that YouTube's really just a big search engine, right?
It is. And you need, let's say that you're a chiropractor in Miami, Florida. You need the 10,000 views that come from, Wichita, Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of doctors, they say to me, Owen, I don't need someone from another state to watch my videos. I need clients now. And really what this is a scarcity mindset, right? It really means I'm only going to help the people in my town. But here's the thing is every famous person started somewhere, right? And so what's going to happen is you're going to build these videos to get 10,000 views and you're going to say, well, I'm not getting any business from this, right? Or whatever. Maybe you don't have a virtual program. I don't do that sort of thing. But here's what's going to happen is someone's going to move to your town and they're going to search chiropractor in Miami. They're going to find your videos on Google and they're going to see that they have 10,000 views on them. And they're going to go, that's the doctor that I want.
Yes. Right. Or if you, and tell me if I'm wrong, what if I took, what is a doc, as a doc, if I took my YouTube channel and you categorize it on your website and then you embed the YouTube videos on your site, will that up your Google ranking?
100%. Yeah. And this is the type of repurposing that we believe in because largely it's outsourceable and it gets you onto another platform, right? We believe in a multi-platform approach, right? As opposed to a multi-purposing approach. You take your video and then that video gets transcribed or rewritten into a blog. Hey, here's a big thing. I actually don't use transcription services. Everybody talks about this AI, but we don't speak the way that we read. And so it's easier for me to hire a blog writer in the Philippines, say, watch this video and create for me a 1,000 word blog post out of it, as opposed to otherwise he's got to listen to the description. Like he's got to go through that, reword all of it. I find it takes less time to just, hey, put this in your own words. They embed that into our blog with the video. And then underneath that, there's like calls to actions, there's pop-ups that happen in there. And so there's a lot of engagement that comes from it. Your social media, YouTube is where you're building up. It's like where your, Scrooge McDuck's money bin, right? It's where all the coins are kept, all your social values kept there. But largely it's that website that's going to convert. It might even be a Google listing, page where it says contact, but it's going to be those conversion assets that actually turn into business for you. So when a client comes into our program, we have them fill out a blueprint form. And in that blueprint form, we ask them about the funnel, right? I see the 2 Comma Club awards on your wall. Like I have been a big believer in ClickFunnels and similar mindsets for a long time, right? They come to your website. They're directed to an offer where there's no options but to convert or leave, right? Once they're in your offer, maybe it's an ebook, maybe it's an appointment time. I believe in ebooks, having an ebook about nutrition or the gut biome, and that gets the email. And now you're sending nurturing emails. And here's the thing, doctors, please, you need to have a virtual consulting program. I'm in Salt Lake City. I consult with a chiropractor in Kentucky named Dr. Terry Harmon because he is an expert in cancer survivors.
Yeah.
Right. That's his thing. He speaks on the Truth About Cancer tours. I found him on YouTube. I called him. I said, do you have a virtual service? Because if you don't, I got to I'm just going to Venmo you. And he goes, no, I've got a whole program. You can do it all virtually. He orders all my blood tests. I meet with him once a month. We talk about health. I actually kind of have him on speed dial a little bit. We're working on my HRV and improving my HRV. Look, you guys need to take seriously this idea of taking clients over Zoom in a six-figure, multi-six-figure scalable way.
Yeah. And that's it. It is really scalable when you think about it. But it's a real mindset leap for doctors, right? Because and I get this too, because I'll run Facebook ads or whatever, and people will be like, so how do you adjust a patient online? And I'm like, look, I think you're missing the point here. We went to school for a lot of things, not to just work physically with patients, right? With practice members, that we can actually affect people's lives, even with our philosophy, which is, to help the body heal without the use of drugs and surgery. That's the last thing. Yeah. And I think that, as chiropractors, that's where we fulfill our space, but we'll always be marginalized as long as people like doctors just think that they're a one-trick pony.
Yes. Right? Yeah. And chiro means with the hands, right? So it's built into the philosophy of a chiropractor. But what you become is actually a health consultant.
Yeah.
And you are helping these out-of-state patients find their adjustment chiropractor. So imagine that power where you're saying like, okay, well, we need to find you a local chiropractor who can do adjustments, right? And they're walking into that chiropractor with sort of like, a consulting tip from you that's like, this is the type of treatment we would suggest for this person. And then, they're coming back to you and you're referring them to a nutritionist. You're helping them to find the people that can put hands on them. And you're doing that from literally from your bedroom. Now, a better way to think about that is, let's say that you get 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is not hard, not hardish to do, but you bring in now one of my doctors can help you. So you're not even doing it now. The other doctors are, and this is truly a scalable business, unlike what you have the capability of doing locally. Now, I know that you can hire doctors locally, but let's just, especially for those of us in Canada, like let's just think about the hardships that your industry is. How many people are choosing chiropractic school right now, knowing it's like being targeted by federal entities, like it's going to get harder to scale a physical business, right? As I'm going to hire 5 docs and it's maybe, but what if you hired 5 virtual docs? Now you don't even need docs from your local area. Now you could hire a doctor 3 states away. They're doing virtual consulting. You know what I mean? Like the opportunities in the new world are endless, but do require a little bit of adventurous thinking.
And here's, I'll just kind of drop this too, is what I'm recognizing is a lot of people now want instant gratification. Like they want it now. So for me, if I set up an appointment with my doctor, it's 3-4 weeks out, right?
Yeah.
However, I can go online. I can be on a call next week or in a few days on a virtual consultation with an expert.
Yes.
It's like that instant moment that you can actually help people. So I think that's kind of an overlooked piece, but there is a lot of backend that docs have to build into it. I want to make sure that we drop the like a way that people can actually, like docs can link up with you. So what's the best way that we can actually send docs to you to learn more?
Go to owenvideo.com. That will redirect you to my main website where there's a big red button and you can schedule a time to just chat with us, and tell us what you want to do, right? Because I'll tell you this, the docs that will thrive on YouTube are the docs that are like, I want to make video, right? The docs that are like, I'm going to try video for 2 weeks, the way I tried pay-per-click for 2 weeks, and the way I tried, like with all those things, like, it's not the right fit for us. Like at the end of the day, but those docs that are like, I've got a message. I've seen lives change. I want to share my story. Maybe it's even if you were thinking podcasting is like, you just want to be in media. You want to have a message. Go to owenvideo.com and let's have a conversation, right? One of the areas that we specialize is building a video system that is fun, affordable, and easy to execute, right? If you can't build video into your day, into your week, then it's probably not going to, it'll be too hard, right? It's like, when do I do this kind of thing? But we help you create that time, really recognize where you're spending time you shouldn't spend and focusing that on videos. You're going to see that you post a video and you get, 1,000 views on it, 500 views. Like you just exposed yourself to 500 people who watched you for like 4 or 5 minutes, not double tapped and moved on, right? The social value on YouTube is 10 times that of an Instagram reel. We like Instagram reels. We do Instagram reels. In fact, we crush with Instagram reels. That's how you stay top of mind. But YouTube is where they go to create the relationship. That's where the bond is made.
Yeah, I noticed that too. It's so interesting with Instagram, or even TikTok, is like you have this initial 24, 48, 72 hour rush of views. And then all of a sudden, bam, you're it's like ghost town.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, I had one video, it's 72,000 views now. It's been a couple of weeks and it just keeps going.
That's cool.
But yeah, it's kind of like a hit and miss though. I feel like it is I'm winning if I'm 5,000 views. But the beautiful thing about YouTube is it's evergreen content. It doesn't work that way, right? You could create content that's just as relevant, like from 2 years ago, that's just as relevant today.
Yeah. And this is where it becomes kind of scalable, right? Because after a year of making videos, you have some videos that are performing. So next year you kind of just redo those ones and maybe experiment with some new things, and there's really easy things that you can do. Like I would love to see a doctor do like, a whole series on the vertebrae, like, hey, today we're talking about the C1 vertebrae, what it does, what it's connected to. And, you're going to love this. And then you're doing all the vertebrae. I would love to see a doctor reviewing x-rays. You know why? Because here's what my dad says when it comes to chiropractor, right? He says, I don't buy it, right? They're all just trying to get your money, right? Kind of thing. And meanwhile, he's eating Twinkies. And it's like, who's trying to get your money, Dad? Nabisco, right? Like the Twinkie Corporation. But, my point is that there's a lot of people that don't buy into it because they don't know that there's a spinal curve. They don't know that like I can't, like the ears should be aligned with the shoulders or whatever, those little nuances are, and that's why I see a chiropractor, because I saw chiropractors with my good friend and I go, this is years ago, folks.
Yeah.
Years ago. And I said, these guys are all crooks. They just want to get your money. And I was just like my dad. He says, I'm going to treat you. I want you to come in and get a sense of what it is. He's a NUCA doctor, so he's even more specific.
Yeah.
He showed me that I had a low grade form of the spinal curve thing.
Like it was like straightened. We'll just say straightened.
Well, it's the scoliosis. It was like very low grade scoliosis. I had no idea. So he goes, let me treat you. And I'm going to treat you and I want to show you that I can correct this. And again, this is a close friend of mine, but he took it very seriously. He didn't treat me it wasn't like a bro conversation. Like I had to come in, he wore the doctor's thing. I did all the tests. And within 90 days, we had straightened out my low-grade scoliosis, and I became a believer. And it was because I saw the x-rays. It was because I saw the measurements. And so I would love to see a doctor being like, hey, today we're going to be looking at like a high-grade scoliosis and what that might look like on an x-ray so that you guys know you can go get treated. You save the day, whatever the case might be. That'd be really interesting, and it's not like you have to script out a video, right? It's kind of like you just kind of jump on Zoom and share your thoughts. And I think people would be really interested in something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think people are starving for it, actually. I mean, there's again, I'll say it, there's a lot of people who will go to fear at in the last 2-3 years and what's coming, I see it as a very exciting time of change, but also like that individual, like you and I, like I started this stuff in my basement.
Oh yeah.
Like we can just we can affect people all over the world. So as we kind of like transition and kind of, I want to start to just transition into our TCB time machine. It's kind of a cheesy time machine question. But before I do, I want to ask you one specific question about YouTube. What's the biggest mistake most people are making you see when they start a YouTube channel?
There's two big mistakes. They're the twin mistakes. Okay. And number one is that you make content that's about you. I want to make products about I want to make a video about my products. I want to make a video that sells me. Like my wife calls them sales videos. My wife is my partner in this business. She's a YouTuber herself. She is the holistic one. She came, her mother cured her own lupus, no traceable form of lupus in her body through alternative medicine. And so when I got sick with cancer, I was all about like, the medical system, right? And then you should try alternative, and that it changed my life. So I'm very grateful for my wife and the role that she actually does the podcast, the doctor podcast with my doctor. But what happens is I'm going to make a video about this thing that I do. Right. As opposed to, we want you to flip the thinking and think about what's the symptom? What is the viewer trying to get at? Okay. That's number one. And then number two is you're like in it for the money. And that's like, I'll try this thing out. I'm just going to see if it works. I don't trust these guys. I don't trust these YouTube guys. Right. Like, and you put yourself in a box and you've said, I'm going to do X amount of videos. Maybe it's not even a number you've quantified in your head, but I know that my doctor friends out there, they love numbers. Maybe you've said in your head, I'm going to do 7 videos. And if I haven't made back my whatever ROI in 7 videos, then this thing doesn't work. And here's what happens. You're in scarcity mode. So now every video has to be a sales video because you're focused on ROI instead of someone's life and making an impact in someone's life. And now you're trying to make an ROI, so you're not investing in, you're not actually putting time in your calendar to plan out a video. I'm just gonna do it real quick because I don't know if it's gonna work, right? Like you're doing the same thing that your clients do before they decide to join your program, right?
Right.
So
I'm gonna try it out.
You really need to say, I'm gonna do video from now on. Right? Like video marketing is marketing, folks. Like I'm not saying that there isn't value in blogs. Like we love that, right? These are ancillary to a YouTube first video strategy, because at the end of the day, they're spending a minute on your blog. They're spending, 45 seconds on your reel, but your YouTube video is where they will spend not just 4 or 5 minutes, but 15 minutes as they watch one video and then another and then another. And then another. We call it binge watching.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you're creating. But no one's going to binge watch your sales videos. Right. So,
no.
Yeah. We want to start with, like, first of all, are you really trying to help people? Or are you trying to make a quick buck on another digital marketing scam that you don't really believe in,
Yeah.
And number two is, what are the videos you're going to make? Like, how are you going to change people's lives?
Yeah. I love it. I mean, and it's because it's not sexy, man. It's not sexy to say, you know what, if you're really good at this and consistent and you get, because we all suck at first, by the way.
Yeah.
And, you just get better at it after, 6 to 12 months, you're going to see that monetary ROI. If you stay consistent, it's not sexy. People don't 6 months.
It's like working out. Like nobody wants to hear, like eat fruits and vegetables every day, decrease your sugar intake, and exercise after every meal. Nobody wants to do that, right? It's all about the now, the taste buds, right? But Patrick Bet-David, who's one of my favorite sort of forecasters and business minds, he says, the currency of the next revolution is going to be concentration. Is that who can really put their focus into something, and you're right about that 12-month ROI, right? That's how you would view anything else. But all of a sudden with video, it's like 5 videos. I need to see an ROI. No, like I'm going to do video all of this year and I'm going to learn how to do it. Number one, I guarantee you'll get customers in the process, right? It's kind of like that star that's kind of bright until you look at it and then you're like, it's not as bright anymore. Like that's the whole thing about videos. You look at it, if you just stop focusing on the money and really just focus on where you're going and the message you're trying to create, your customers are going to have tools to refer you. Number one, your existing clients now have something they can give to their friends. You got to watch this video my chiro did. You got to watch this video my doctor did.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's going to increase your referral sales. And then the next part of that is attracting a virtual audience that you're going to get into virtual consulting practices. These things, we don't have that, Owen. I know it's going to take you 12 months maybe to develop and get right. Right. But after a while, after that 12 months, I mean, you're looking at what a lot of our clients say to us is, I got rid of everything else that I was doing.
Yeah.
Now I'm just focusing on my YouTube channel, and that's an ideal situation to be in.
Yeah. And I mean, one of the things, like just, people, especially in our groups who are doing Instagram or TikTok, and it's not really our massive specialty, but I just tell them to document everything, man. Just turn your phone, like even the most trivial stuff. You need video, you need content, and you never know what people are going to be like, what could go viral. So you just document everything.
This is the point. Like you're sitting there, you're reviewing an x-ray from somebody and it reminds you like, man, I need to talk about this. Pull out your phone, do a 45-second reel on it. And if it does well, maybe turn that into a YouTube video. But like, give yourself a chance to sort of, express. And I think chiropractors are really good at this. Chiropractors are really good at doing like in-person sort of events.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of docs who will have like ancillary programs like massage and hyperbaric and like I've got my doc does a conference locally with accident injury lawyers and they're chiropractors are uniquely good in sort of this space, and you're going to add video to that, right? You're going to sort of say, how can I do that on video? I've got a doctor right now who's got a magazine that he produces. And so it's like, how do we put the magazine on video? You've got to get good at like expressing yourself, warming up and knowing you don't put your heart and soul into shorts, right? Vertical shorts. You put your heart and soul into YouTube, and then that becomes your blog, your reel. It all kind of trickles down from there. And that I think helps our minds wrap around it, but it also becomes highly outsourceable. And at the end of the day, I really don't want my docs editing their own videos unless there's a passion, like a rejuvenation. Like I want you to overseas outsource that, because you could film everything on Friday, and then wake up on Tuesday morning with a bunch of videos done. You know what I mean? Like it's worth it, to do that.
Yeah. That's amazing. I mean, this is, I hope this is really impacting a lot of the docs who are going to be listening, but also viewing. And so let's do this. Let's jump into the TCP time machine here. I know that you got a hard stop in 9 minutes. So here's what we're going to do, Owen. You ready for this? Okay. So we're going to put you in the TCP time machine. We're going to send you back to a younger version of yourself. Now, this younger version, what we'll do is we'll frame it as, say, like you're 20, 21 years of age.
Cool.
So we're going to send you back to that younger version of yourself. You have all the life experience, all the knowledge that you have today. You meet that younger self. What advice would you give that younger self, that younger you?
Right off the bat is I would talk about mental health 100%. I would actually advise my younger self to see a therapist. And that goes deep into what devils I didn't realize were haunting me when I got cancer. And cancer revealed to me that I have been treating myself very poorly. I was living in a scarcity mindset and just always, always in survival mode, constant fight or flight. Right.
Wow.
And I would tell myself, like, that's not the way everybody is. Not everybody's trying to hurt you, man. Like, not everybody's coming after you. Like, you're actually pretty safe. You can relax. And I would say this, focus on the comedy. That's what I would tell my younger self. It's not that I don't love what I do today, but I love writing comedy. In fact, for anybody that wants to check out our TikTok channel, Them Hemsaths, just search Owen Video on TikTok. I do family comedy with my kids, and it's totally clean and fun, and it's a hobby, but I love it. And I, grew up sort of in performance, as in theater. I went to college for media arts and that sort of thing. And nobody ever, I feel, ever encouraged me. I don't feel like I had mentors. I know I didn't have mentors in my life. So, I probably would have mentored myself and say, stick with the comedy. You're actually pretty good at it. Develop that muscle. And that would have been a very different lifestyle, but one that I'm seeking to build now.
That's awesome. I mean, it's never too late, right? To chase your dream, to start something new. Right.
And you know what? My kids are super important to me. I have 4 kids, and my kids are super important to me. One of the biggest regrets of my life is my vasectomy. Oops, sorry. Yeah. But I wish we would have had more kids. I love kids. I love having the kids' friends around us. Right. So I believe truly that my peak will probably be around the time that they're a little more self-sufficient, because I'm not going to sacrifice career time, or I'm going to sacrifice career time to be with them. Right. And so there'll be a day where they're not going to want dad around them so much. You know what I mean? And that's probably when I'll do more comedy and start doing stand-up in clubs and things like that. And I'm totally good with that.
That's awesome. I love it. And so, as we kind of like transition into the wrap up as well, I always love to ask our guests, is there anything that you're reading right now, or someone you're listening to, or a podcast, or I don't know, like any resource or an app even that you think our docs should go out and actually take advantage of right now?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you about The Referable Speaker by Michael Port and my friend Andrew Davis, to the initiated. But this is a book about keynote speaking, and it's about building a speaking career. However, I substitute the word speech for the word video. And yes, I speak a lot already, but I do see myself one day being a keynote speaker at bigger events and large. Like I see myself as an author and all these things. And I know a lot of our doctors listening are already authors and keynoters. But this book I'm reading it right now. I'm 3/4 through. And it really has just caused me, like, I'm reading it, I put the book down, and I'm just like filled with ideas. I love the way that they make it accessible, and I love it's tactical, but it's narrative. It's a lot of anecdotal as well. And so I like hearing the strategy and then how it worked for people that largely I know. He talks about my good friend Jay Baer, who in that book. So it's nice to hear, like, oh, my friends are doing this kind of thing as well. So I think it's a great book, and I highly recommend it.
So The Referable Speaker?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And that's Michael Port?
Michael Port is the author. Yeah.
Beautiful. Awesome. So TCB listeners, you can actually head to thechiropracticphilanthropist.com. We'll have a link to a special webpage for a discussion today with Owen. We're also going to have all the resources, links as well. If you go ahead and actually open your show notes, you should be able to find those on your mobile right now. And you go ahead and actually connect with Owen if possible. Dude, so great. I mean, I love this conversation. I'm going to, like I said, if it wasn't for video, wasn't for social media, we wouldn't be on this conversation right now. Yeah. It's such a powerful force.
So cool. Well, thank you for having me. And I can't wait to do it again.
So you've heard the struggles, you've heard the successes, and this episode is done. But there's still so much more to come and so much more to learn. Head on over to thechiropracticphilanthropist.com and sign up for our newsletter, where you'll receive free practice building tips and strategies, including how to market your practice with your very own podcast and so much more. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on The Chiropractic Philanthropist.